to the Clifton Worley show / Scott Hamiliton from the Effects Salute, and Chris Carter's out here chilling, but he's welcome to chime in. Yeah.
Now we're just back porching
if he wants. Yeah, we're here at our Airbnb in Nashville, the podcast house, and we're kind of decompressing from a crazy. We went at it hard. Like we got there at time when it started, and then we stayed almost all the way up till the end of the day. We put in a full day. I stayed there all day. You guys went and toured the Gibson facility.
Yeah, we did. That was a lot of fun.
Was it worth your while?
So we signed a non-disclosure agreement.
Right.
I'm being fishy with what we're posting. Like, we asked them if, like, all right, is it cool if we take photos? And they're like, yeah, we pre-cleared you, whatever. I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, right, we're that important. No, like, we're nobodies with iPhones. So I got some stuff we'll be posting, probably a little photo thing from it, but so it wasn't like we're generating content, but it was a lot of fun just from me. Like, I love the idea of guitar building, the craftsmanship that goes into it. It was really surprising to see how Gibson does hand building at scale. Is really impressive. There's not much modern technology there.
Yeah.
In the physical crafting of the guitar, like, they're still really trying to hold true to the 50s and 60s methods.
Yeah.
While, like, modernizing, like, their inventory control and stuff like that. So, like, that's all barcoded, and you see computers all over the place for that, but at the same time, it's still something like hand sanding everything, which was really cool.
Yeah. That's interesting, because, I don't know, I have this perception of Gibson that, especially like this era where they had the robot tuners recent in the last few years,
yeah,
that like things have kind of gone super modernized there, and that's surprising me that what you're saying.
I mean, we watched the one guy who can spray a sunburst finish. Like, there's only one guy who can do it, and he's just working.
If he's out sick and you got a custom order,
I think they're in trouble. Yeah. So we saw stuff like that. At the same time, you then go into the room and there's 8 Plek machines running 24/7. You know, and the setups, all the fretwork is done by a computer there. So that part is modernized. There are CNC routers that do the rough shaping. But like, he brought a top out of like how they do the carve top with a CNC router. And because they use a router bit, there's this little wave to it. Almost looks like an alligator skin kind of a pattern that they have to still hand sand out. So like, they're not full, you know, computer,
it's just
whatever.
getting you in the ballpark, and then you got to sand it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, so you guys hit the floor for a few hours this morning. What did you find?
Today was we set up a few interviews, so it was way more corporate. We started the day with Boss. Matt Knight was working that, so he hosts a podcast, but we're not supposed to talk about Boss and his podcast together, so we'll be quiet about that. But he showed us around the wireless units, and his, like, the GT1000 is surprisingly compact compared to, like, the Helix. Like, that really struck me. I was like, wow, you made this way more efficient to carry around. I still haven't gotten a chance to fully play with that. We then did a walk through Fender and all of the stuff they've got coming out. They've got some fun stuff there, and the Player Series, I think, is going to resonate pretty well with people. We did Yamaha's booth, which I forgot how much I love the Yamaha Revstar.
Yeah, that's a cool guitar.
So it was for us. It was like interviews and connections today, and my voice is starting to go, and you know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you know, the thing about NAMM is, well, anybody who's been you don't realize until you get there how loud just the ambient noise in the room is, and you kind of push your voice talking loud to people, and the end of the day, you're kind of hoarse. That's just part of going to something like that. So I hit the door running this morning. I was trying to come up with a game plan, and I ran into Jamie Davis pretty early on, and I kind of just said, "Hey, if you're not doing anything, do you want to hang with me?" And he ended up running my microphone and phone and recording all that for me as I was just going from booth to booth and stuff. I really appreciated that because it freed me up not to have to worry about those things, and I was able to kind of speed through several booths, and before I knew it, it was like time to go get lunch.
Yeah.
And so we were very productive. We hit the Recording King booth, and I actually got to talk to those guys there, and they were super chill. And I told them that that I had presented the Triple O all solid woods thing at Winter NAMM, and that there was even a guy who bought one of those because of that. And so they seemed excited about that, and then they kind of gave me the rundown. And I actually had more fun, I think, though, like just picking up each guitar and kind of just saying what spoke to me, and just kind of doing a quick demo of each one.
I think you're having a lot different of a NAMM experience than I am.
Yes.
I have touched very, very little actual things. I've just been wrangling microphones all day, trying to talk and shake hands, and I'm hoping tomorrow, we're just going to put the microphones away. We're done filming. We're cashed out and from like that kind of work, and we haven't even tried to do any of the post-production stuff yet. Tomorrow, and we're going to be fighting the crowds tomorrow with it being public day, but I still want to go for a little bit and just get hands-on stuff and see if I fall in love with anything, that kind of thing. Like, like a lot of those guitars, it's a 15 to 30 second thing. You just pick it up and you're like, nah, it doesn't vibe, or like your immediate feedback you get, like, this is it. I want to get some of that stuff in, just to feed the geek in me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been different for me because, and this is a way different NAMM experience than last time. Last time, I was awkwardly going down the line, trying to meet people, and, huge thanks to you guys and even Ryan Burke and Anthony from Sinusoid for, helping me get my foot in the door and meeting a few people, and been able to follow up on a few of those this year, which is nice. It kind of feels like it adds a little validity to what you do, and you can go when people remember you.
Yeah, it's been really nice. I would say last year, we were in Ryan Burke's shadow last year.
Absolutely.
But in like the right way of like, he's very comfortable in that environment, and I learned a lot just watching him going through, and I wish I could be as social and extroverted and good with people as he is.
Right.
So I tried to emulate him a little bit, tried to do my own thing a little bit this time, but having like Old Blood Noise Endeavors is somebody we interacted with yesterday. I met Seth at Summer NAMM last year. I've run into him now at a few events, and he's remembering us from a couple of just really good 5 to 10 minute encounters were memorable enough, and so he they'll push people aside and say, hey, come check this out and spend time with us this time. It's been a very different experience than being the layperson last year.
Yeah, and I'm in the same boat. Last year I was kind of getting my feet wet, finding out what this was about. And this year I'm trying to go to work and kind of be fruitful with this. And but at the same time, what I wanted to focus in on, and Jamie really helped me with that, was to just focus in on the pure joy of the event and getting to try out all this stuff. And that's what I'm hoping to convey is the how fun it is to pick up all these things and play them, and to kind of get the best I can and give that experience to my friends who follow the show that can't come to NAMM, because It's just not everybody can pick up and go 3 days to Nashville, you know.
Well, not only that, I mean, this is also like going to the world's biggest guitar store.
Yeah. And
getting to try a bunch of stuff. And, you know, I think we're both really blessed with good guitar stores where we're at home that expose us to a lot of stuff, but they still won't bring in this level of what's going on. And
you're not going to find all this. There's less and less boutique gear here this year, but you're still not going to find the amount of boutique gear that you get here anywhere locally.
Yeah. My store's not going to carry an Equitz.
Right.
You know, and getting to interact with, and Kevin Equitz is not coming to Chicago Music Exchange for me to like interact with him. Like, so it was real fun to like meet him here.
Not yet anyways, right?
Yeah, he can crash on my couch, Kevin. You know, we can do something like that, but it was overwhelming last year, a little bit of digesting some of this. And I think that's another benefit that we've had this year is this year we're able to focus only on what's like been out in the last 6 months or a year. Mm-hmm. It's not while I've never seen all of Walrus's pedals together before. So like last year I was like wowing over something that is quite old in their line that I just never got a chance to see. So I'm able to be a bit more streamlined this year with what I'm paying attention to.
Yeah. Is there anything about this year that like surprises you?
There's always the random stuff.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit last night. Clifton and I did a recording on my show. There's a group that's selling like a stethoscope that you can attach to your guitar for when you travel, and like you know, there's things like that. There's somebody today with mini violin bows. Did you see them? Where it's about the width of your hand.
Yeah.
And you like it like straps onto your hand, so you basically just play with your palm. That was like, there's the ceramic tubas were there today. I'm not playing a tuba at NAMM because I don't want to get sick. And I don't play tuba. So, you know, there's always that crazy stuff. There's the people of NAMM is always an entertaining site.
This is, and another, I don't know, this year seemed really, really tame. Like last year, maybe it's just I'm over the shock from it all.
Maybe.
But it was kind of tame this year. I'm expecting probably tomorrow to be kind of wild. And
I think people of NAMM is going to be ridiculous tomorrow.
Yes.
You're going to see the crazy outfits. You know, the people who wear 6-inch platform boots all around,
and that's what like Winter NAMM is all like that. Like it's to the extreme out there. It's a little more conservative, I think, in Nashville.
You think that you think that's just a factor of it's Nashville versus it's
LA?
I
think so. There's just way more people out there who are going to the event, and it's the numbers of that's going to be higher. So tomorrow, what's your game plan?
I really want to go play some Taylors. I love that brand. My personal story of like how I kind of discovered what I did for my career is actually really rooted in Taylor guitars.
Oh, wow.
So I guess as a little introduction to me, and I don't want to talk about myself too long, but I'm an acoustics consultant is my day job. So I work in architecture, dealing with like noise and vibration control, but also like how do we shape the room? How do we do finishes? And I get into like a lot of performance venues and things like that, and get to do really cool stuff there that I never thought that would be what I wanted to do when I was like 12. I didn't have a dream of doing this.
Yeah.
But when I was in high school, Taylor revamped all their electronics, all their acoustics, all like their whole thing, and they were writing white papers about it. And I was 16 reading these white papers going, this is so cool. I'm fascinated by the science of this. I want to learn more. And they're co-authored by a Purdue University professor. So then I was like, I want to go to Purdue University. And I was really lucky. I limped in with grades that probably shouldn't have got me there. And then I limped through and graduated, and then limped into a career working in acoustics design. So, you know, it pivoted a bunch, but you know, that's kind of that inception point of pursuing the science of acoustics as a work discipline. So it goes back to Taylor's for me.
Well, I spent a good amount of time today at the Taylor booth, and there weren't really any surprises there. I knew like what was going to be there from viewing the booth before, but they did have the V bracing out in full force, and it was nice to see it. Like I tried it, and they had like a 314, a 514, there was a 814. Then I got to try it out on each of those models going up, and so that was neat to see it on all the tiers.
Yeah,
see what was available, and like it could have just been the one I played, but like the 314 sounded really sweet and had such a huge bass response, and that surprised me. Of course, the 814 blew you away because it was just so articulate. But even the 314 with that V bracing, it just sounded really sweet, and it was like they're pushing the envelope, and I think the rest of the acoustic industry is going to have to follow behind them because they're really paving the way.
I've had a Taylor now 13 years. Same one. I play a 414. And like the longevity of that guitar has been great. I've had to have all guitars, you have to have the neck reset at some point on an acoustic, and like the technologies they brought in with like the bolt-on necks and things like that made it very affordable. The guitar plays like a dream now because it had the neck reset, and some of those kind of things. So moving away from it's always the battle of like the traditional versus the ultra modern, right? I think Taylor does a really nice job of blending the two. They don't sound like a Martin. They don't look like a Martin necessarily. They're differentiating themselves in being modern, but they're still very accessible. You don't feel like you're playing this thing with flames on it and wild aesthetics and things like that. So
Eastman had a nice acoustic. They had a Sound Electric, but they had some really nice acoustics.
Yeah,
made in China, but they have some really nice craftsmanship, and they sound amazing, and the price point on was really attractive. They had a J45 that looked like a worn J45 and with the old 50 style pickguard, and it was MSRP on it was $1,500.
MSRP, so like realistically you'd be looking at about 1,000?
Yeah.
Probably streetish?
Yeah, and and it stood up with a J45.
Nice.
So, you're like looking at a third of the price.
Yeah.
They had one that was like a D18. They had one that was like a Taylor, 014 size. They had a one that looked more like a Breedlove. It was like they were really pushing for all the heavy hitters and trying to do some kind of clone. But they sounded really good, and so that's a good look if you're, I tried the Recording Kings, and those are great for the price point. If you want to step it up some and go closer to the fit and finish of these were pretty good. I think by far out of the whole room at NAMM, Summer NAMM, Taylor had the most impressive acoustics that I played. Martin's, they had some okay ones, but some of the woods that they were using on some of the budget Martins didn't sound very good to me.
The budget X series has like that laminate neck where it's multiple plies and things like that, and you either love it or you hate it. Seems to be the kind of consensus on that.
Yeah.
The Martin DM's a great guitar.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, there was one that was like the Road series. Had some weird, the Dreadnought size Road series sounded pretty good. It was like the DS something R. It sounded good. The Triple O in that same series had some other wood that I'd never heard from, and it didn't have a good punch to it. And so that was interesting. I'm trying not to. I shouldn't be dogging Martin because I enjoy Martin, but
You
up
have
against Taylor.
You have 2 Martins?
No, I have a
Just the one?
I've got a Dreadnought Junior,
Yeah.
and then I mainly play. I've got a Taylor 714. It's my main axe, and then I have a Gibson J45. Talking about Gibson, circling back to them, I did go by their booth and play several of their acoustics and electrics. Their acoustics are sweet. Now, their price points are probably the same as always been. I mean, there's nothing really new there. They had a series called the Avant Garde where they were taking like the Hummingbird and the J45 and doing some like cutaways and stuff with it, and some different finishes.
It's funny, when I first bought a nice acoustic, I thought I needed a cutaway. And this is 18-year-old Scott, looking to buy something.
Yeah.
There's no money up there, to quote another, YouTube personality. It's funny how you think you need a cutaway, and then when you really invest in love acoustic guitars, I find myself not needing it. Yeah. And so there's a little bit of regret for me for buying a cutaway.
Yeah. Well, I guess it just depends on what kind of player you are. I'm a more of a traditional player, so I can live without it. And my Taylor has it, and it's cool with auditorium size guitar. So I think you can kind of get away with the aesthetics looks a little better on an auditorium size guitar. Cutaway. This is all personal opinion. Then it does maybe like a Dreadnought.
Well, especially depending on what you're playing. Like if you're gonna flat pick or something like that, a full size Dreadnought's what you want.
Yes. Yeah.
But
yeah. So, well, it's been an exciting day and a whole lot to digest. I have probably way more iPhone videos than I know what to do with, and I don't know what I'm going to do with them. And but this is a good way to kind of decompress all of that, and I think I'm ready to probably get some hot chicken about right now.
I am too. I just want to take out my contacts before we go there.
Yeah, that's a good move. So, well, thanks for joining me out here on the back porch and talking NAMM. And
I'll have to.
We've got one more day, so be looking for what else has in store, and we'll talk to you guys later.